Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Celebrity Natal Charts, which is not very much new anymore. So today we're going to be looking at Justin Randall Timberlake, who is a Aquarius rising Leo, born January 31st, 1981. He is an American songwriter, actor, a record producer, businessman, and philanthropist. Born in Memphis, Tennessee, he appeared on the television show Star Search and an all-new Mickey Mouse Club as a child in the late 90s. Timberlake rose to prominence as one of the two lead vocalists and young members of the boy band NSYNC, whose launch was financed by Lou Pearlman. His other ventures include record label Tin Man Records, fashion label William Rast, and the restaurant Destino and Southern Hospitality. Hi guys. So I literally knew none of that stuff about Justin Timberlake. I was more concerned that I felt like I did his chart already, and then realized that that was Justin Bieber's. I knew about the Mickey Mouse Club. One of the two lead vocalists of NSYNC. I mean, is the other one Lance Bass? I don't know. Um, and Lou Pearlman, I think he's like a bad guy. And then Tin Man, I guess it's like something about Tennessee. And fashion label William Rast. I mean, that kind of sounds cool. Kind of sounds like something you would get from TJ Maxx. Destino, and then Destino. I'm just hating on him. I guess. I guess I don't like him. I guess I'm not a Justin Timberlake fan. Um, I felt like what he did with Janet Jackson was sort of evil, but then again, she might have been in on it. So what do you do? Um, so that's Justin Timberlake. We're gonna read his chart. He has a rising Leo, which I think is very interesting as a Sun Aquarius because those are opposite signs. And yeah, so I mean the whole like Star Search thing, I forget whose chart I think it was actually Justin Bieber's chart where I was like joining competitions or being competitive would be really would do well for him financially. So he could have been part of like some type of like battle of the bands or talent search, or I mean like YouTube is kind of like Star Search these days anyway. But I mean well, and then also having Sagittarius in the second house also means like, so being competitive is good for your money, being athletic is good for your money, being lucky, gambling, sports gambling is good for your money. Um, Justin Timberlake being a rising Leo, I mean, like, that's obvious he's going to be famous. His parents probably knew that he was going to be famous. He probably looked famous as a little kid. Um, I think his North Node is in Leo too, so like all you would have to do is be like, "Oh, you're Aquarius, rising Leo. Looked at the chart. You should be famous." But so when someone has a rising Cancer, it's like they should be a mother. They should be nurturing. They should be loving, and their biggest priority should be being well known for that. Almost like the Virgin Mary, like let people know how good of a mother you are, rising Cancer. With Rising Leo, it's like you're already famous, you look famous, you got a famous head, you got a big forehead, you got all the things that people say, um, you know, um, that people attribute to feelings of fame and whatever. Like you look famous, you have Rising Leo, you look famous. But see, the second house of resources and priorities is now in Virgo. So as a person with Rising Leo who looks famous, your biggest priority should be your health and work. Because the healthier you are, the more you're going to look famous, the more work you get, the more famous you are. And Justin Timberlake's a pretty hard working Hollywood guy. Like, you know, I think in this series, at the beginning of these series with Pisces, there was a lot of conversations being had about like transferring from music to television, from television to movies to theater, especially in the Cindy Crawford reading. He's one of those people that that did that. Sorry, I'm having difficulty speaking because I'm like a little bit infuriated right now with some flame war that I'm in on Reddit. But I will clear my mind and we will talk about Justin Timberlake today. And maybe he's infuriated. I mean, Leo is like a hot, fiery sign. Like the Elizabeth Olsen reading, I was extremely bored and felt extremely bored and impatient. This reading, I feel impatient and tongue tied. But yes, so he's a rising Leo. He looks famous. Second house in Virgo. His highest priority should be his health, as it should be for everybody, but more so for him. Some people don't have as many health problems. His third house in Libra. Third house in Libra means he's a beautiful singer. He sang real good. He may not talk so good, but he sang real good. Probably talks a lot better than the people that he came from around, like from Tennessee or whatever. So it's like third house in Libra, beautiful voice. Libras are like I always forget. I'm always like Libras, you're a liar. But Libras being liars is deep, and that's sort of like astrology is like a bunch of onions. You know what I mean? Like L Liar, liar, is that spelled wrong? Yeah, I'm a little bit dyslexic, but like liar, the word liar, Liar. And then like Lyere, liar, like the Greek instrument or whatever. I guess that would be layer, Lair. I don't know. English is dumb. I'm not dumb. It's English. English is the problem. But yeah, so they're not only liars, like people who don't tell the truth, they're also liars, like the Greek instrument that Orpheus or Theseus or Obesius or somebody created or played with or whatever. I think, what's his name? Apollo might be credited with the creation of the lyre. I don't know. I'm following a Greek myth subreddit, so I will remember one day. But also in his third house, he has Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. Let's double check that. Jupiter, Saturn. I think Pluto might actually be in his fourth house. Oh no, yeah, and it's retrograde, but Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn in the third house of Libra. So Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. What's that one song? That's a John Mayer song. I'm asking for the world to change. Maybe he would have been better at singing that song. Maybe he should cover that song because that's what this like. It's like Libra is very John Lennon. A world without borders, hippie, peaceful, da 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 da. So is Aquarius, and he's very lucky to have a beautiful voice with Jupiter in the third house as well. But also his voice is his limitation with Saturn there as well. So maybe and the thing is like actually about Justin Timberlake, putting aside YouTube, Janet Jackson's breast and NSYNC and Britney Spears, honestly, like all the things that they went through. I think that just to say something positive about him, I think that Justin Timberlake is very cautious of not wanting to continue to appropriate black culture because I mean in the 90s early 2000s black culture was culture. There really wasn't a huge distinction. Like there was like R. Kelly and Jay-Z, and Pink, because Pink was a monolith of black culture because they used to market her as a light skinned black woman or whatever, and she whatever. Um, and then like what like hillbillies and banjos, like country like Tim McGraw, like country didn't become pimp until they made CMT in like 2006. Okay, country music was not pimp. The best country artist probably before like 2004, it was probably like Dolly Parton and Clay Aiken. So I think that the limitation that he feels with his voice in Libra is like maybe he really wants to be a rapper. Like Snoop Dogg's a really good rapper. Maybe he's like, I want to be a rapper, but like I'm fucking what's his name? I'm sorry for cursing. I'm really not. I feel like that's the thing is like I always feel like I'm stuttering and stammering because I'm trying to be like a news anchor, which I am, but we got to keep it real over here. And maybe this is him. Maybe this channel. We got to keep it real, folks. Um, because he's from Memphis, Tennessee, and what is this thing called? William Rast. William Rast sounds like a country singer that I wouldn't listen to. But anyway, so I feel like a huge limitation with him is like he wants to be a rapper or he wants to sound like like how a black person or black, maybe a black woman, maybe a black man, that's a limitation for him. Maybe he does. Maybe you know what? Maybe like that Louis C.K. sketch on SNL. Maybe he does sound like a black woman when he's alone. You know, you never know, and it's like a limitation. But he's very lucky and fortunate for the way that he sounds. I'm never leaving the third house. Um, and the way that he sounds causes people to change. So I often in the music industry talk about songs of corruption. I don't know. I'm not really a huge NSYNC fan. There's a couple ones that I like, but like what is it, Little John and the East Side Boys, that song, those are songs of corruption and they're like spells, you know what I mean? So I'm not aware. I mean, maybe, like him singing that song Cry Me a River was a corruption spell to try to coerce Britney Spears to kill herself. You never know because we got the third house, and he likes to say things that make people want to kill themselves. Like that's what that is. um he likes to bring up people's like regrets and talk about remorse. He's a lot more sinister than most of these charts that I've looked at, and I can't really get over it. But in addition to, I mean, but that's the thing too, because like him coming from Tennessee, that's not him going up to an Indian person and calling them Slumdog Millionaire. That's like him going up to his grandparents and being like, "Oh, aren't you mad you lost your hand in the cotton gin, you old fuck?" Like, like stuff like that. But also, so in addition to him bullying old people, it does give this very like John Mayer, waiting for the world to change. And actually, this positioning or this whole third house reminds me of the song "Where Is the Love." It reminds me of like "Where Is the Love" remixed with "Waiting for the World to Change." Um, so I think that as an Aquarius, as he might be an erratic character or might be slightly bipolar, the North Node version of Justin Timberlake is like very like it's extremes. There are extreme mountains and extreme valleys. Like he goes back and forth in between like literally almost like perfect and godlike and kind and sweet to people, um, and courteous about things that we don't even know about. He's constantly apologizing with the way that he dresses, with the way that he wears his hair. Everything he does, like the third house, Pluto in the third house, like everything he does is an apology. Even his fame going on Star Search is an apology to his mother for the lack of finances that were provided to from his father, and for generations before that, the mistakes of his grandfather, the mistakes of his grandmother, the mistakes of his great great grandfather. His entire life is an apology letter to the world. Okay. And so that's the thing about these readings is that like I try, like I stutter and I stammer and I curse because I'm trying to keep it like love and light and happy slappy by readings from me, but it gets deep. And then I think that as we're leaving the third house and moving into the fourth house of Scorpio, Scorpio, super deep sign. The fourth house is ruled by Cancer, and that's when I'm just generally looking at astrology. I feel like that's when your life becomes deep. Aries, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're like a baby. Taurus, you have temper tantrums and you're possessive like a toddler. Gemini, they lie and they're duplicitous like a child. I didn't eat the candy. Honey, your tongue is purple and there's like purple goo all over your face. You ate the candy. Like, come on, Gemini. But Cancer is where things become deep. It's like fear. It's like the first time you've ever been so scared that you cried out for your mother. You're like, "Mommy, like, help me." That's the fourth house. And he has his fourth house in Scorpio. So I think his mother might be into occult magic. She might be part of the Church of Satan or something. Or she just might be into astrology. And she might have looked at his chart and been like, Star Search immediately. Yes, Uranus in Scorpio. So Uranus in Scorpio in the fourth house says to me that because of his attachment to his mother and because of his attachment to occult spirituality, his life has now become boundless. So I don't know his story. It could have been his dad taking him to Star Search. It could have been his grandmother taking him to Star Search. But what I see in his chart, like, based on the bio, based on what I'm seeing in his chart, I'm like, it's probably his mother. His mother has made his life boundless and energetic and, um, I guess, like, more aligned and less erratic and more stability. The fifth house of ego, sex, and creativity, that is ruled by the sign of Leo. He has the sign of Sagittarius, which I think is a really good. Yeah, I never realized, I never realized how good rising Leo Aquarius is actually. Um, where he also has his moon. So being so competitive makes him emotional. So, I don't know. It's, oh my God. Like, so with NSYNC, he probably did love all of his cast members and look at them as brothers. Same thing with the Mickey Mouse Club, but I think like he knew or he learned or he had to learn that it's like you had to be a little bit more cutthroat and emotion, like, and competitive. He's like, okay, you're getting more airtime than me. I'm gonna sleep with your girlfriend and break up with her and break both of your hearts, and then we'll see who has the most airtime and whose voice is more clear on the radio or yada yada. Which is a real thing. Like people will try to upset you to like how I was talking about. Like I'm infuriated with somebody on Reddit that I'm in the middle of a flame war with, and it's kind of impeding my work and still um, coming through even in this video. So that's a real thing. And then I guess like based on his emotions, he becomes very emotional and competitive. I think mostly around relationships. His mother could have been very competitive with relationships, or his father. And so talking about the Sagittarius positioning, like I was saying with Justin Bieber having Sagittarius in his second house with a rising Scorpio, and that going on competition shows would be really good for his money. So, like I said, if like Justin Bieber would have done something like Star Search, it would bode well for his finances. And then I also said that YouTube is basically Star Search in the modern day. For him, with Sagittarius being in his fifth house, it's almost like him having gone on Star Search or American Idol or whatever competition reality shows, does really well for his love life and sex life. So, probably got a lot of play out of being famous. Um, I don't know I think maybe every celebrity has like a Flavor Flav fantasy, or every human has a harem fantasy of just like, and 27 women, I get to pick out their names, and then I get to choose one to marry. And being like a crazy weird celebrity, that might not be the worst matchmaking process to go through. And you get to film it, and you get to make TV and make money, and then you can make a TV show like Adrian Curry and that Brady guy, and then you have you got TV, talk about the best home movies that have ever been made. It keeps coming up, and all I ever talk about is the Flavor Flav video, so much so that I might release it earlier than I thought that I would. But okay, let's keep on going. So we are now in his sixth house of Capricorn. So this emotional competition that he's in with people over his ego and sex and love and like that stuff with Janet Jackson or whatever, could have been like like he could have like because that's the thing too, because like exposes Janet Jackson's breast on television during the Super Bowl. Then it's replayed on YouTube. Pretty much the whole reason why YouTube was invented. She is no longer, and it's like, oh, what does that matter? You know what I mean? Who cares? Well, she's no longer looked as a wholesome product. So when she wants to go to Dubai or sing a Christmas um, concert, she's now pornography because of him. So it is a direct attack and things like that. And maybe he didn't mean to do it. Maybe he's remorseful. Maybe he's sorry. Libra in the third house with Pluto, he says he's sorry all the time. He makes mistakes a lot. But maybe, he's like a country, he's a country bumpkin who doesn't like, who just happened to be pretty. from a holler in Tennessee who's like now around a bunch of people that he doesn't really know how to find agreement with. But how he's supposed to heal this and heal that is his Capricorn sixth house, which is like um, this term that I just learned called standing on business, which is like just keep going out there. You don't know what to do. You're making clothes. You have a restaurant. Okay, go into the restaurant. Make sure the restaurant's nice. Wake up in the morning. Practice singing. Learn chorus line. Do cabaret. um, another opportunity will come. And but also, because I believe he has Neptune in Capricorn as well, Venus in Capricorn, and Neptune is in Sagittarius, which I think we just talked about. Neptune being in Sagittarius in television and Star Search. So his Venus in Capricorn. So it's like Venus in Capricorn in the sixth house. He should work with almost like it feels like Princess Carolyn from BoJack Horseman, like an attractive Capricorn woman, probably older, who can help him with his health problems, like a nurse, help him find work. Or even like, it's almost like dating a Virgo who is a record producer, a movie producer, or who like works part time at Starbucks or something with like a good job. Like, he should be working with a woman that has a good job outside of helping him. And that seems like really difficult because, I mean, here's we go into the seventh house of Aquarius, which does talk about love and partnership. But it's like, it does definitely seems like a work relationship. It doesn't seem like a love or a marriage or an affair or sex or anything like that. And like I said, it very much feels like Princess Carolyn and BoJack Horseman would maybe like his agent wants to sleep with him, or it's hard for him to find representation that doesn't want to, disrupt his vibration readily. You know what I mean? It's almost, it wants to give me like Walter Mercado, where it's like, he's like, I don't want to sing on people's phones for 89 cents or 99 cents a song. Like, that sucks. Like, my song should be $7 a song, or like $70 a song. That might have been a conversation that he might have had, with iTunes and Napster and blah, blah, blah. Because he's like sort of before all that stuff. Or like just as that stuff is coming into prominence. But here we go into the seventh house. This is the house of the law of attraction, love, romance, love affairs. We got the sun here because he's a sun Aquarius. And we got Mars here as well. So Mars in Aquarius is a person that's like very hesitant to take action. So maybe that's why he apologizes a lot, because he's like, I didn't even want to do that, and I did it, and I thought about it, and I took the second option, and I shouldn't have done that. And I think he very much does identify as an Aquarius. Like, he probably does feel like a nerd and cool guy drag, where it's like all these like flannel shirts and khakis and stuff that he's wearing. It's like, his like real personality coming out or something, or trying to get back in touch with his real personality. My thing about Leo and Aquarius is that I know that they like typically have estrangement from their family, like their mothers and their fathers. But it's like he seems like he has an estrangement from himself with his career and his second identity, almost like Hannah Montana. Like, he's like, I don't know who Justin Randall Timberlake is and Justin Timberlake. And I think a lot of famous people have that weird compartmentalization. Well, I don't know if it's weird. Compartmentalization. It might be healthy. You know what I mean? It might be healthy to be like, okay, my name is Beyonce Knowles. I'm a Virgo. I date this guy, Jay-Z. He's supposedly an ex-drug dealer. And he goes to gay sex parties with all of his bad boy friends. And I got to get there on stage and pretend to be Sasha Fierce so I don't cry, So Justin Timberlake, and that's the thing too, it's like, most people are gay, most people are bisexual, especially famous people. So it's like, we know about the public relationships that he's had that have broken up, and Britney Spears and blah, blah, blah. But we all know that that's fake. So we're not aware of the like boyfriends that he's had that have been stomping all over his heart, or random flings and love affairs with women who aren't famous, that might be tearing him to pieces. And as a famous person, with a sixth house in Capricorn, like, having a fetish for women that work, um, he might date a maid. He might date a maid that works in a hotel, or it might be, a maid in a really nice hotel. She could be making pretty decent money. You never know. I don't know how the hotels work. Um, and that might be something that he does or has done, and it's causing issues for him. Seventh house, Aquarius, Sun in Aquarius. He probably, I guess, like, typically when I look at a chart like this, I would say like a Sun or rising Aquarius would be a good match, romantically. And maybe I will do Britney Spears' chart eventually. She's a Sagittarius, I believe. I always forget if she's a Sagittarius or an Aries, but it's one of the two. And then she's a Gemini. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Okay, so his eighth. So the Aquarius rising Leo. That's a pretty good sign to be born under. I've never looked at a chart like this before. Like, that's pretty decent. And then got an eighth house in Pisces. That's really nice. A really deep connection to God and spirituality. And I've met some like West Virginian holy rollers, like snake healers and things like that, and they tend to be pretty adept to astrology. I think Justin might be like a very intuitive astrologer. He might be like really good at like guessing people's sun signs, their rising signs. That might be one of the limitations that he has in his third house of Libra. He might talk about astrology too much, with Pluto there as well. But eighth house in Pisces is like he knows God, he loves God. Um, God, whether if he loves God or thinks about God or not, he knows that God is protecting his journey. And then me talking about his mother being a part of the Church of Satan, like, she could have been thinking that she was, joining a Catholic church or something, and then it's not, Scientologists or Scientologists or something. And then I believe his Mercury is in Pisces too. So Mercury in Pisces, third house in Libra, he has like a soft, beautiful, angelic voice, which, I mean, arguably, he's not my favorite vocalist, but it's a soft, beautiful. His chart says soft, beautiful, angelic voice. But I do believe that it is more so of his purpose to be a gospel singer, or like an evangelist, like Tammy Faye Baker. Like, he's supposed to be singing about God, or he's supposed to be singing about God or dead people songs. So he's either supposed to be like doing John Lennon's greatest hits. Uh, it's like John Lennon's greatest hits, Snoop Dogg's greatest hits, uh, Cardi B, but about God. Like, maybe even making like God, like Christian rock parodies of music. So it's like gin and juice, but it's about like, I don't know, like wine and loaves or wine and fish or something like that. Like, he's really supposed to be talking about God a lot. He probably does talk to God very often, but his music is supposed to be spiritual. And so that could also be the Saturn limitation in his third house, where I'm like, oh, he wants to like sound like a black woman. He wants to sing gospel like a black woman does. The same thing with Elvis Presley, I'm sure, like, that the attention that they get. And the thing is, like, I channel Elvis's spirit a lot. And the thing with Elvis's spirit is that he wants to do it all. He doesn't like waiting for his turn in a song. So it's like if he's, singing a song where there's like a female part and a male part, he wants to do both. He wants to sing both parts. He wants to sing in Spanish. He wants to sing in English. He wants to be Jewish. He wants to be Christian. He wants to be black. He wants to be white. He wants to be Asian. He wants to do Vedic mantras, and he wanted to do it all. And he might have, you know what I mean? Like, just because I don't have a recording or I've never seen it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. And all these people are very like 6 degrees of separation connected. So I don't necessarily see that in Justin, which I mean I could, because he is an Aquarius, and Aquarius is like to take on the entire weight of the world. But I do see that there's this thing with him where it's like he is very connected to like Black African American culture. And it might be something that stems back to growing up in Tennessee. But Pisces in the eighth house does seem like a black card. Like, I'm not giving him a black card. I'm not a mega fan or super fan. Maybe he'll do something really cool eventually. Maybe he'll make a song with Snoop Dogg that's just fire. Because we can all agree that that song, with like that song, that Will Smith song that just came out, that's like all a bunch of words. Because he's also a Libra, that's why I'm talking about him. Well, also, or he just is a Libra. Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, and Will Smith are all Libras, and that's why I'm bringing them up. Was god awful and terrible, and it's like I don't think anybody respects Will Smith as a rapper because he's an actor, and I think there is this weird thing in music where it's like we want, I don't know if we actually want it, but we do want like a ODB, like an old dirty bastard off the street who's just like miraculously good at rapping or singing or dancing, and not somebody who went to Juilliard and fabricated an entire fake character, a liar, lying ass Libra, um, to entertain us. You know what I mean? As entertaining as they might be, um, like the Fresh Prince of Bel Air story, like is that really his story? Did that really happen? Does he have uncle and aunt in Bel Air, or is that just like his vibe and his energy? Like I'm a poor Philly street kid with a touch of like Bel Air flair, you know? I don't know. He might do some like Disney TV show with it seems like almost like Fresh Prince of Bel Air meets like Hannah Montana or something like that. He might produce it or something like that. But let's get through these houses because my battery's dying and I don't feel like getting the charger. So we got 8th house in Pisces, got the 9th house in Aries, militarized education, government education. I don't know what college that he went to, but I guess he might have received government assistance to go there. Um, he might have studied government if he has not gone to college. Studying government would be good for him, like government politics, things like that. And being very determined about his goals. So I think like if he didn't become famous, he might be some type of politician or preacher. Which I mean, fame goes away, so he could very much eventually become a politician or preacher in the future. And then he has a 10th house in Taurus, so it's like it's his destiny. So it's like his almost like it's his destiny to be rich. But he also has Chiron in Taurus, so it's like he likes to teach other people about finances and how to get rich quick schemes, but he's not good at them. So he's sort of like an Ed, Ed, and Eddie type of character, like always after quarters or whatever it is. And he enjoys being that way. It's his destiny to teach other people how to be that way. It's very much like I call it Ed, Ed, and Eddie, but it's more so like the first season of The Apprentice. It's like, okay, nobody wants to buy my albums anymore. What about Justin Timberlake Lemonade? What about Justin Timberlake socks? What about Justin Timberlake Fox? What about Justin Timberlake with a fox in a box? What about Justin, like so. And I do kind of get that vibe from his bio as well. He needs to talk to like a business manager. Like he needs a Princess Carolyn to help him out. He might just need a cat. Like he might just need a cat to talk to. He like might be lonely or something. And then his 11th house is Gemini, so he has a lot of like untrustworthy friends, a lot of untrustworthy friends and family with 11th house of Gemini, but also it's a very strong positioning because it's like George Michael, like I know all the games you play because I play them too, and I play them better because I'm an Aquarius. So his interactions generally with people or his friends, it's like they're trying to attack him verbally or spiritually with badminton rackets, and he has like tennis rackets and golf clubs and a fucking baseball bat, as an Aquarius. So that's something that he goes through a lot. And this also comes back to his, I think I want to say that, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This comes back to his fifth house in Sagittarius about being in extreme emotional competitions with his friends and peers around relationships. Mickey Mouse Club, NSYNC, says for itself, astrology's real, basically. If astrology's fake, how come Justin Timberlake is still fighting people for the Mickey Mouse Club? And then it's also like also like fighting for dominance because he was really prevalent. Christina Aguilera was very prevalent. Britney Spears, but he kind of surpassed them in certain ways. And then Ryan Gosling kind of like ran out there like a dark horse, like and only doing movies and not being like a fake black singer dancer. So he would be a good chart to look at too, as a Scorpio. I believe that is his sign. And he did what is that movie Drive? That movie was badass. I think the best I could see Justin Timberlake in a movie would be like, being an older version of Neil Patrick Harris in a Harold and Kumar movie starring Snoop Dogg and Tiffany Haddish or something. Like the very last Friday or Good Friday. Oh my God! Like, so what about like a Southern white people movie and like a Southern black people movie called Good Friday with Justin Timberlake and Ice Cube? I would watch that. That sounds cute as hell. Justin Timberlake, Ice Cube, Cardi B. Who else did I talk about? Will Smith's lame ass. Will Smith is so lame, and Will Smith is so lame, and he like 100% gives this vibe that he's like touching his children, and they look sad in the face. Okay, and then so we got the 12th house in Cancer. So thank you guys so much for listening, as I opted to sit myself very uncomfortably at the start of the recording of this video, in which I'm supposed to instruct you to get like a beverage or something and chill out because it's about to be 45 minutes. Like I think this is the point in Star Wars where like I am your like 45 minutes in, It's probably like the I am your father scene. So thank you so much for listening and liking, sharing, and subscribing. What if I just left the 12th house out and that was like, you have to come back and get that later? But the 12th house in Cancer, like I said, like this positioning in this chart is very interesting. I think it's very good. I didn't really see a chart that I felt like was so fortunate in my analysis of Pisces. But I guess like a comparable, I think I did mention, like, I don't remember doing who Pisces rising Virgo was. So maybe that chart is very similar. But this part, like, Justin Timberlake, like, you can't hurt his feelings. Like, there's no hurting his feelings. You would literally have to be like, use astrology and spiritual magic to find something to hurt his feelings. Because I feel like he deals with rejection very well. Cancer in the 12th house, but his mother makes him very sad and miserable. And people born under the sign of Cancer make him really sad and miserable and make them feel embarrassed. So as like a Leo who likes to shine, he probably has like a disdain for his own shyness within himself and watching other people experiencing shyness or not shining as brightly. So he could very well be on The Voice or American Idol as well as like a judge. I guess he kind of should be. Like he went through Star Search and things like that. And he could very much be doing that. And I feel like he could be a person, like I said, like The Voice or whatever. Like he's someone that can nurture other people's careers. And that's what I see for Justin Randall Timberlake. I was going to call him Justin Randall Bieber. Justin Randall Timberlake. Thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, and listening. I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.